The reason why I realized that walking up is normally if it's a vented crawl space, you would see the cutout vents into the crawl space, whereas your foundation is horizontal with no breaks. Now we do have some elevation changes, but you can tell right away that this is an unvented crawl space.
Yeah.
Why would we want to do an unvented crawl space versus the very traditional and normal vented crawl space that we see throughout the whole Northwest?
Yeah, because I'll bet we have 400 to 500 vented crawl spaces that we built throughout the years.
For sure, I have
with
too over the
Dad's,
years.
well, I mean, Dad starting the company in '78, we've done it, but we're always trying to do a little bit better.
Yep.
You know what wind washing is with insulation, I'm sure.
Yep.
So that's probably one of the primary reasons that we're doing this, is because you're basically taking an area that you want to be able to control and you're saying, well, I'm going to make it a little bit like outside and a little bit like inside. We always do, you know, I'm a budget friendly builder. We pretty much always do fiberglass or some mineral wool insulation or something unless we can't.
Yep.
When you have that differential in the outdoors versus the indoors, you're losing the efficacy of your insulation.
Yep.
So everywhere that we have that insulation, we're losing it at that point as well as throughout the whole rest of it. Another thing that I like is future-proofing the house when it comes to utilities. If you've got your insulation up there, over time you go in a crawl space that's 20 years old, how much of that insulation is still up there?
Right.
How much of it is hanging?
Hanging down, looking nasty.
Exactly. But you can keep your critters out, you can keep it nice and clean in there. If you have to do any repair work or that kind of thing, it makes your life a lot easier.
So let me follow up on what you said. When we do a traditional vented crawl space, meaning we've got cutout vents and this space that we're standing here is kind of like the outdoor space. That means that your insulation is going to be tucked up under your floor. So this is going to get those eye joists that we're seeing over there. This whole floor will get framed, and then later it would be insulated if it was a vented crawl space. And it's traditionally used, let's say, bat insulation in there. And I can't tell you how many crawl spaces I've come into later. The bats are falling down. Yes. There's critters in that crawl space. Any holes that we've drilled between the crawl space and the house, maybe they got drilled later, is a spot that bugs could get through, that vapor can transmit through, that cold air or hot air or really moist, humid air can get through. So I think the reason to go to an unvented crawl space is making the job of air sealing much, much simpler, and also, frankly, making the insulation simpler. So with that being said, how are you going to insulate this unvented crawl space?
So in this house, we'll have a vapor barrier that we run all the way up to the mud sill, and then we take a rigid insulation from Powerwool, in this case, and we'll use that. It's almost like you're doing a basement at this point.
Yeah, it's a short basement is all it is.
It's a short basement, there's no thermal bridging, and yeah, exactly, it's a short basement. So we'll just affix that. Now in this particular jurisdiction, which is different from another one I'm building in, they're making us also run horizontally on the floor in here, like we would do with a basement.
Okay.